raging across the internet and business worlds. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto?
I'm not in Bitcoin.
But your address
Not in Bitcoin. I don't know.
And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some fucking Japanese guy in a cave.
Who created Bitcoin, the world's first and most groundbreaking currency? Someone who called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. In 2008, two significant events unfolded. First, the world was shaken by a massive economic crisis.
I think this is the most significant financial crisis in the post-war period.
There are fears the sell-off will continue on Wall Street.
Soaring gas prices, falling home prices, and rising unemployment.
Second, a person calling themselves Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper titled A Peer-to-Peer Electronic Cash System. At the time, it was a document that very few people knew about. A year later, Nakamoto released Bitcoin's open source code. Thanks to the power of open source collaboration, this system began to spread, slowly at first, then rapidly, across the globe. Satoshi existed solely in the digital realm. All we know about the author of that initial white paper is their email address. In the limited number of messages or forum posts Nakamoto shared using that address, they focused exclusively on technical matters. The only personal information we have comes from a profile they described on a now archived website from 2012. According to that page, Nakamoto was 37 years old at the time, making them about 50 years old today, male and Japanese. Of course, creating a fake profile online is easy, so these details are highly questionable. However, from their messages, we can infer that their English was exceptional. Based on the idioms and words they used, it's clear they preferred British English. Another unique clue lies in their punctuation. Nakamoto consistently left 2 spaces after periods. Normally, there's either 1 space after a period or none in informal writing. But this consistent use of double spaces is notable and intriguing in its own right. One more clue appears to have been left intentionally. Let me show you the first block of Bitcoin, the Genesis block. Bitcoin operates on a system known as a blockchain. Think of the blocks as pages of a book. If Bitcoin is a book that grows as new pages are added, the Genesis block is its very first page. Hidden within the code of this first page is an embedded message, a sentence from the headline of a British newspaper. It reads, "The Times, 3rd January 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." By including this sentence in the first code, Nakamoto gave us a glimpse into their thoughts about banking and modern financial systems. At the same time, this headline acts as a kind of timestamp. It's clear Nakamoto was someone deeply knowledgeable about both coding and finance. Yet, despite all the clues and speculation, no one has uncovered any concrete evidence about their true identity. That hasn't stopped journalists, academics, and curious minds like us from theorizing. Over the past decade, countless theories have emerged, and a few names keep resurfacing. In this video, I'll walk you through what we know about those individuals. Then, you can decide for yourself which one, if any, might be the real Satoshi Nakamoto. At the top of almost every theory list is the name Hal Finney. Finney was deeply involved in advocating for digital privacy, freedom, decentralized systems, and financial autonomy. He also holds the distinction of being the first person in the world to receive Bitcoin. Yes, the very first Bitcoin transfer was sent to him by Nakamoto. Finney was among the first to read, understand, and recognize the importance of the Bitcoin white paper. In the early days of the Bitcoin Talk forum, he actively assisted Nakamoto in refining Bitcoin's code and fixing its bugs. According to an analysis conducted by Juola and Associates, which performed stylometric studies on Nakamoto's written communications, Finney's writing style showed notable similarities to Nakamoto's. Despite this, Hal Finney consistently denied being Satoshi Nakamoto. Furthermore, he was diagnosed with ALS in 2009 and passed away in 2014 due to the disease. If this theory is correct, then the creator of Bitcoin is no longer alive. If the theory is false, then one of the people most likely to know Nakamoto's true identity is no longer with us. Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. Yes, you heard that right. This individual's legal name actually includes the words Satoshi Nakamoto. In 2014, Newsweek published an article claiming that Dorian Nakamoto, a Japanese-American man, was the real Satoshi Nakamoto. Beyond his name, there are, at first glance, some intriguing similarities that suggest he could indeed be the creator of Bitcoin. Dorian studied physics at Cal Poly Pomona, worked as a systems engineer on defense projects, and later became a computer engineer for technology and financial information services companies. Think about it. Your real name is Satoshi Nakamoto, and your education and professional experience seem sufficient to develop such groundbreaking technology. The Newsweek article pointed to Nakamoto's libertarian leanings, Japanese heritage, and even his home address, just 2 blocks away from Hal Finney's, as evidence to support their claim. Our previous candidate, Hal Finney, lived in the same neighborhood as Dorian Nakamoto. This raises an interesting possibility. Could Hal Finney, speculating like we are now, have borrowed the name Satoshi Nakamoto from his neighbor? Because here's what we know. Dorian Nakamoto has consistently denied any involvement with Bitcoin.
Is to clear my name that I have nothing to do with Bitcoin.
In fact, he claims he hadn't even heard of it until after his name was publicly linked to the project.
That's not me. I never communicated with Bitcoins.
In 2013, a researcher used stylometric linguistic analysis to claim that Satoshi Nakamoto was actually Nick Szabo, a Hungarian-American computer scientist. Long before Bitcoin, as far back as the 1990s, Szabo was working on developing a decentralized digital currency. His project, called BitGold, is widely considered a precursor to Bitcoin. Szabo's Hungarian heritage adds another layer of intrigue. His family immigrated to the United States, partly due to the oppressive and highly controlling government in Hungary at the time, which caused significant hardships for his family. Once in the US, Szabo pursued a legal education and developed expertise in finance, both of which align with the skills necessary to create something like Bitcoin. One curious piece of evidence is a Bitcoin address Szabo shared in one of his messages. It used the initials N and S, which when reversed, form S and N, the initials of the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Despite this and numerous linguistic clues, research studies, and the remarkable similarities between Szabo's background, work, and the Bitcoin project, he has consistently denied being Satoshi Nakamoto and continues to do so to this day. Among all the potential candidates for Satoshi Nakamoto, Cray Wright is perhaps the most controversial and distinctive. In 2016, Wright himself claimed, "I am Satoshi Nakamoto," which naturally grabbed the attention of the media.
So you're going to show me that Satoshi Nakamoto is you?
Yes.
Prior to this, there were already rumors due to a cryptocurrency article featured on his blog, which hinted at his connection to Bitcoin. By making this statement, Wright confirmed these rumors. Craig Stephen Wright is an Australian computer scientist and businessman. Given the similarities between Australian and British English, it could be argued that there's linguistic evidence supporting his claim. However, things began to unravel when Wright stated that he had access to the keys needed to move Bitcoin from the Genesis block, the first block mined by Nakamoto, a claim that raised some doubts about the consistency of his story. To this day, Wright has never moved Bitcoin from the Genesis block, nor has he definitively proven his connection to the Nakamoto identity. Despite his claims, the evidence linking him to Satoshi Nakamoto remains unverified and highly contested. Beyond these names, there are many other candidates, theories, and individuals under consideration. But for now, let's set aside the question of who Nakamoto is and instead focus on why he disappeared. An expert who analyzed Bitcoin's core code once suggested that such a code could have been developed either by a group of people or a genius. Nakamoto was most likely not a group, but a single genius. Now let's talk not about who Satoshi is, but why he acted the way he did. Why did the creator of Bitcoin choose to hide his identity and then vanish entirely? By minimizing his interactions and maintaining anonymity, Satoshi turned Bitcoin into a public and open concept, something that everyone could claim as their own. In a sense, this ensured his neutrality and kept Bitcoin free from personal bias. Today, Bitcoin is a global concept, attracting immense interest, but it wasn't always that way. When Satoshi stepped away from the project, Bitcoin was worth just about $1 per token, far less than its current value, which is thousands of times higher. Perhaps even Nakamoto himself couldn't have foreseen how big Bitcoin would become. Oh, by the way, have I mentioned that Nakamoto is believed to own 1 million bitcoins? If he had sold them on April 16th, 2021, they would have been worth a staggering $60 billion. He could have been one of the richest people in the world, potentially, but he never touched those bitcoins, never accessed the wallet, never used that wealth. Maybe he really is some kind of superhero with a rare, unprecedented moral integrity in this capitalist age. Or maybe he just forgot the password to his Bitcoin wallet. Either way, I guess we'll never truly know.